Okay, well, hi, this is Peter Combs from BidAmount.com and plcombs Asian Art, and today is Friday, March 2nd, 2018, and this is the, as you know, the regular weekly video on what's been going on. We're going to take a look at last week's eBay auction results. Before I get into it, though, I wanted to point out just a couple of things that went on this week that you might want to know about. One, we did a video, here it is, on a couple of the sales coming up at Sotheby's this month in March. We talked about the Ming sale, which had some great things in it, and the Jerry Tang sale of 91 lots of all Kangxi porcelain. Good sales, both of them. And we'll do one later next week at some point on some of the other auctions as well. We also posted this week, they came out and we got them downloaded and turned into catalogs, the 5 of the sales that are taking place at Christie's. Here they are. The one on the lower right here is from January, but the first 5 are the Christie sales, and they're posted under dealers and auctioneers on the website if you know how to find them. If you click this button here on the upper right, it'll bring you to a page with buttons for each of the big auction houses, and you come over here and you can, as you know, open up these catalogs and take a look and see what's going on, all right? And do all that, all right? So let's get on to the auctions last week. There were some good price results, and one of them was this. This was a restored Kangxi plate, but it was a particularly nice one. It has that classic in femme-vert, that classic flower basket in the center. It had been repaired, but it was a big piece. This was a nice big plate, big bowl. There's the back of it. It was apparently beautifully restored, and it brought $677. And as you all know, without the restoration, it probably would have brought $2,000 or $3,000, I suspect. Okay, and then on to these, a nice-looking pair of jadeite, probably early 20th century jadeite jars. They were missing their lids, but they had these archaistic masks on them in the acanthus leaves, pretty nice coloring, and they did fine. They brought $5,655. All right, good-looking pair of jade jars. And then this was the same seller that had the jars, had this robe, very colorful, early 20th century, informal, obviously, a robe, but nice colors, very vibrantly done, very energetic, and it did pretty well. It brought $3,163. The market for robes has been really strong, and in the Christie's catalog that's coming up, one of the Christie's catalogs, there's some robes from General Joseph Stilwell's collection. He was the famous American general who worked with the Chinese to fight back the Japanese in World War II, and he died in the 40s, but the family's been holding on to some of his things, and they put up a really fine imperial yellow court robe in their auction coming up. They've had it within the family for a long time, so you might want to check that out. Okay, I think there's some links to it also over on the forum page to those catalogs. And then this robe was put up also. This was a nice old robe. This was a late 19th century robe, nice quality decoration. I like the coloration of the skirt across the bottom. Very well done. There it is. So it looks like it's on a gauze. It's probably a summer robe, and it did quite well. It brought $5,701, which is a pretty good price for one of those for a summer robe. All right, nice looking robe though. Good color. And these are a really pretty pair of mid-19th century, 1840 Chinese export scene plates with Mandarin figures, both of them sitting around, people seated at tables, pursuing different interests and so forth. Nicely done, beautifully done plates with sort of unusual borders. I like them a lot. And these sort of fun inner borders. And these were a pretty good buy. I think whoever got these got a good value. They only went for a couple of $100 a piece. And we did have them in the newsletter, so if you meant to bid on them and you missed them, that's what they went for. All right, but very decorative, beautiful colors. And then we had this Buddha. These Buddhas have been turning up again. They seem to come and go in waves. But this was a nice one, made around 1900, 1920. They're a fairly well-known type. We've had a few of them in the past. It has a couple of marks on the bottom, marked China and all that business. But very nice quality decoration, good quality enameling, and also with the soft turquoise ground, quite attractive. And it did pretty well. It brought $1,183, which is sort of in the lower, lower range for these. Some of them have stronger coloring, but I thought this was a perfectly good one. Chinese families love them, and they're heavily collected over there. All right. And then this is sort of something I put in the newsletter. I like, as I've said before, I think there are some underappreciated Chinese types of decorative works. And this is one of them. This is a very nice pewter teapot. Very classical, with the sort of done in the Ming style with that high handle coming off of it, wrapped in bamboo. And yes, that's probably an ivory finial and all that good stuff. And here's a picture of it again, and a picture of it here. It's unmarked. It looked like a nice heavy one too, but I like the style of this a lot. And these are crazily undervalued. Look what this went for, $182. I don't think that's a lot of money for something this good. He says it's early 1800s. I think it's a little later, but it could be. It could be. You'd have to handle it to be sure, but beautiful quality, really nice quality. And then there was this. This was the transitional brush pot. Nice looking little brush pot. Here's a picture of the bottom of it. There's the rim with the coffee coating on the rim. Beautifully done with the flute players, nice brushwork. And when we saw it last week, it was up to about $2. I think it was up to nothing. And in the end, it did just great. It brought $6,130.99. This was sold by Old Masters over in the United Kingdom. He's a good dealer over there. He gets nice things. And then there was this nice, very pretty, I mentioned it a week or two ago, this in the upcoming, this cafe ground plate with femi-vert enamels and so forth, and very unusually colored flowers. I thought this was a nice plate, very pretty. And it did pretty well. It ended up bringing 260 pounds or, $360 odd, something like that. All right, but nice looking dish. And then this was one of the really good buys of the week. This was a 19th century plate, but done in the 18th century style. But a very nice plate. The only thing I could see wrong with it was it had a tiny, 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 tiny nick up here at the top. But a very attractive scene and very good painting decoration. The style of painting, the space, the open space, the placement of the butterfly overhead, the children climbing up, and there's another child in the tree. And they're picking branches off, flowers, and so forth. Thought this was a pretty nice plate. Here's the back of it. Obviously a later 19th century plate, all right, I think, or mid-19th century. It went for $13.50. Okay, it was sold by a dealer down in Georgia, here in the United States. That was a really good buy for someone. That's a charming little plate. It was it was over 10 inches too. It was 10.5 inches in diameter. So I've said many times, always leave a bid, because these things happen every week. Something great goes through, and it's for very modest amounts of money. And I bet everybody out there would pay that price plus a little bit of shipping to get it. And then there was a nice-looking pair of celadon ground, soft celadon ground, Femi Rose, mid-19th century plates, vases. These were fairly attractive. And often with these vases, you'll find one of them is tipped a little bit, and this is the one that got tipped. You can see that the collar here underneath the neck, at the bottom of the neck, where the ibixes are poking in. They're really not ibixes. They didn't have them in China. But anyway, right there, you can see it's tilted a little bit. Okay, there we go. Oh, one of the things I wanted to tell everybody today, we are having another one of our, a few months ago, I mentioned that we were having a storm one day. And I don't know if the microphone's picking up, but we have the window open here a little bit today. It is a howling wind. And this is the scene at the end of my street this morning, 3 hours before high tide. And the waves were right up there, just 100 yards from my house. All right, this is what the ocean was doing today. Great big waves, 60, 70 mile an hour winds. And pretty exciting stuff. So I may lose the power before I finish this video too, so move it along. And that pair of vases, that nice looking pair of vases, they brought $2,026, which is right about what they've all been bringing lately. All right, sort of in that $1,800 to $2,400 range. All right, and then we had this in the sale in the catalog last week because I like Kangxi tea cardies, and this is a real one, nicely done. These always seem to have a lot of fritting, and right here along this upper shoulder, you'll see some fritting and so forth. But this is a real nice Kangxi tea caddy, a classic one, and there's the side of it, so forth. Nice little pot, and look what it brought. It only brought $187. All right, so somebody got a nice buy on that. That's a nice little tea caddy. It didn't have a lid, but you hardly ever see them with the little lid still on them. Sometimes they have make-do lids or wooden ones, but rarely the original porcelain lids. So that was, I think, a pretty good buy for somebody working on a modest budget. And then we had this pair of Kangxi jars. And I didn't know how these would do. I thought they'd do better than they did, actually. I think somebody got a very fine buy on these. These were nice-looking jars. They did have minor frits and nicks around here, and this lid had a repair to it. But the fact that they had their lids at all was sort of remarkable. And very typical Kangxi jars. Here's the bottom, all right? And look what they went for. They went for $1,225, or about $600 a piece. Not a huge price. And these were pretty good sizes, I recall. Yeah, they were about 8 or 9 inches tall. So a nice-looking pair of jars. I think that was a very reasonable buy for a pair. And then we're going to move over. Whoops, hold on a minute. Here we go. This one. This was that Ming plate that was featured in the newsletter, probably Hongmu period. Very nice, nice-looking dish. And it seemed sort of dead in the water there for a while. It wasn't going anywhere. It was up to maybe $100 or $50 for a few days. And people caught on to it. But this is what the back of one of these should look like. Very typical foot, slightly overhanging to the interior. Nice finish on it, all hand-trimmed. There's the entire plate with all these aquatic devices. Really nice one. And it did just fine. It brought $4,300 in the end. All right, which is right about where it should be. Okay, that's a nice looking dish. And then there's this one too. It has sort of a late Ming look to it, but a lot of people date these to the Yongchen period, probably early Yongchen. I don't know. This doesn't look, I never think these look Yongchen to me. And people say they always are because of some shipwreck. I think they were made before and ended up on the ship years later. But at any rate, that's just my opinion. This was a nice-looking plate, no matter when it was made back then. And it brought $1,525. Yeah, from the Kamau rack. Right, that's it. Okay. And shifting along again was this great big charger with the dragons on it and the scafato ground in white. And these this nice, femi-vert rim. And beautifully done, nicely done in the back. It had the apocryphal chin lung mark. And this was the fellow who buys things and he resells them on eBay, from as far as I can tell. And he actually reuses the previous seller's photographs. But at any rate, it's business. Dealers buy and sell all the time. And this was a nice plate. Whoever's helping him make his buying choices, they pick pretty good things. And this one brought $2,275. And originally he bought this from Ascot Court Antiques. All right. And then on to this. This is there's some other things coming up. We're going to talk about what's, just for a few seconds, about things that are coming up in this week's newsletter. I don't mean to rush it today, but I'm going a little quickly because our power keeps flickering here. I want to get this done. All right. We have this 39 centimeter charger, rather nice one, Kangxi period, beautifully decorated. It's up to $1,022. Should go a bit more, but that's a nice plate, nice looking dish, and nice looking charger. And that closes on Sunday. All right. It'll be in the newsletter this weekend. And also this little bronze, charming. Everybody knows I like these little bronzes, and I think they're pretty much undervalued in the market. I don't know why, but they did make quite a few of them, but they certainly made a lot more porcelain than they made bronzes. And this one is a nice little one, nice casting. There's the bottom of it, all corroded and grungy looking. Here's the facial features. Nice face on him, nicely done, very strong modeling, so forth. And it's up to $185. It ends Sunday. I suspect it'll bring $400 to $600 somewhere in there, safe price, but a nice looking bronze. And then in here we have a Qing period, has a very nice sale ending this coming Monday. All right, he's a good seller in the Netherlands. He's got 61 lots up. And here's one of the things he's got up, a nice, he's got reserves on them. Usually his reserves are pretty reasonable. This is a very nice Kangxi rib jar, okay? Here's a good eye. It's a nice looking pot, okay? And what else does he have? Oh, he says, oh, this is my friend Kenny has this up. This is a really pretty 18th century plate, early Qinlong. There it is, possibly Yongchen period, but wonderful quality. Look at the quality of the birds, the way the waves under the ducks are drawn. This is a nice plate, okay? You ought to check it out. Excellent quality, and it's only up to $115. It ends Sunday, all right, and it's in excellent condition. Check it out. All right, that's a very decorative plate, and I love it with the immortals running around the rim. That's quite unusual. It's quite unusual. And on to this is this great big. This is Lehman Dean Antiques. I don't know them well. They don't have a lot of feedback, but this is a nice big planter in that Femi June decoration. And you may recall a few weeks ago there was one up, and I don't remember what it brought. You have to go back and look at the tape on it. But here's another one. They did make quite a few of these with that sort of stylized bat upper rim and so forth. And right now it's up to $75. But bear in mind, these have big shipping prices. It's $135 to ship it to the United States. So, because they're heavy. These are big pieces. It's not an overcharge. That's just what postage costs these days. And then Migulari has this up. This is a pretty nice looking Kangxi dish with a Ming mark on it. Obviously it's not right, but it's a dragon with a fish and the wave pattern around the border. Quite attractive. Here's the back of it. Very nice. Good looking plate. It does have a line in it up here in minor fritting, but you might be able to pick it up quite reasonably, all right? But it's an unusual pattern. And that's it for the week, all right? And if I rushed a little, it's because I'm really thinking the power's going to go here. It always goes here when it rains heavy because the manhole covers fill up around here and they short out all the circuits. Life on the ocean. All right. So listen, thanks so much. And if you haven't signed up for the weekly newsletter, please do. And we've been posting some things over on the forum, and I think we're up to 260 or 70 members at this point. Thank you all. And subscribe to us on YouTube. Subscribe to the BidAmount newsletter, and we'll see you all around. All right. And give us a thumbs up on here. I'm going to say it until I get tired of saying it, but if you like the video, let me know, okay? Leave a comment, too. All right. Bye-bye.